What's up guys, it's Matt, welcome back. Today we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the first Marvel cinematic movie to be released following on from Infinity War. So yeah, as you can imagine, following on from that, they've decided to sort of bring it back a bit and sort of chill out and, you know, give everyone some fun and things to laugh at, because the end of Infinity War was really sad. So, just like Ant-Man 1, the film has been directed by Peyton Reed. It stars Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. They've introduced Michelle Pfeiffer as playing Janet Von Dyne, Hank Pym's wife, the Wasp's mum. The film basically plays out as kind of Ant-Man's story following on from Civil War. So, essentially, Ant-Man is under his last few days of house arrest, following on from obviously what he did in Civil War. He's basically looking forward to being able to go out and spend time with his daughter and basically not be Ant-Man anymore. Meanwhile, Michael Douglas and Evangeline Lilly, they are both basically trying to save Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Janet Von Dyne, from the quantum realm, as they believe that she's actually been alive in there all these years. And what do you know, Scott is the key in order to setting it free. It doesn't address sort of anything really that happened in Infinity War. If you think this is going to be where we're Ant-Man and the Wasp during the Infinity War, that's not what it is. This kind of takes place between Civil War and Infinity War. And yeah, Infinity War's not addressed, forget about that. But in all fairness, I think we all need a little bit more lightheartedness following on from the, you know, because everyone was dead. I'm okay. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. It was less of a heist movie than the original one, but it was still kind of just a really fun movie. One of the things that I always kind of say with these comic book movies is I want them to feel like comic books, and that's exactly how this felt. You know, we kind of jumped in, there's been a big gap since we've last seen Scott, but it just, bam, it gets on with it, and the adventure just flows from there, and it just gets into it straight away. Of course, people will probably once again argue the same old, oh, the villain's a little bit flat. The villain in this movie being, well, I suppose there's kind of two villains. You've got your main villain, who is the Ghost. Then you've also got Walton Goggins' character, who's basically like some southern gentleman arms dealer of some sort. He's kind of more of like a B-side villain who kind of keeps cropping up throughout the movie and basically causes a bit of a pain in the backside for the gang. It works though. It works, kind of having these having these two villains, and sort of everyone's interests keep sort of spinning in and out. And you never really know when they're going to crop up, but whenever they do, you know, it's always good fun. Walter Goggins' character does have some absolutely incredible exchanges with Michael Peña's character, who was obviously one of the standout people in the first film. And again, he delivers in this, although at times I think they've tried to overuse him a little bit due to the success of the first one. And I suppose that kind of brings me on to my next point. It doesn't hammer the jokes at you, but I think the film's trying to be a bit funnier than it actually is. Like, there were genuine laugh out loud moments. There were quite a lot of moments where I was like, huh. Yeah, that's funny. And then there were a few moments where I was just like, that was clearly a joke. It's just, yeah, I don't know, just wasn't really feeling it. But that could just be my sense of humour. I'm not sure everyone will see it that way. But like I said, in general, it is quite a funny movie. Doesn't take itself too seriously whatsoever. Some of the best sort of back and forth is between Evangeline Lilly, Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas, and who I just have to say on that note, Michael Douglas is great as Hank Pym. He plays the cantankerous old man brilliantly, but at the same time, you know, he's also a great loving father. So yeah, Michael Douglas once again absolutely smashes it in this film. One thing I will say, with the inclusion of Michelle Pfeiffer, I thought she was going to get a bigger kind of role in the movie than she does. I mean, what she does is very significant, but she was just kind of, I expected more of her than what's actually there. But, you know, the film's not really about her, the film's about getting to her. So yeah, but again though, Michelle Pfeiffer, you know, when she is on the screen, she's absolutely brilliant, and basically just steals the show when she is on screen there. Of course, one of the best parts of Ant-Man 1 was seeing how all sort of the powers play out, you know, the shrinking down, and obviously this time around the villain Ghost has the kind of phasing in and out powers, so it was always going to be interesting to sort of see how they made those two shrinking and phasing sort of play off each other. It starts off a little bit slow, but I think that was a deliberate choice because, you know, the characters themselves, the Ghost has never fought anyone who can shrink before, just like Ant-Man's never fought anyone who can phase before. So the sort of early fight sequences between them are a bit like, but towards the end, it's just absolutely great fun. And as I'm sure you've seen from the trailer, the chases with the shrinkable cars, then going big, then shrinking, then going big and shrinking. Yeah, just absolutely really, really entertaining to watch. And just the way they sort of edit all those sequences together, it's just so brilliantly done. Whoever choreographed sort of all the car chases in this movie is pretty clever. I've got to give them props for some of the inventive ways they kind of thought of handling the movie. It was really enjoyable. Other notable mentions, Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie. I won't go too much into his character and what his character does, but Lawrence Fishburne, whatever he's in, he's great at. Found it quite interesting that he's jumped over from DC, obviously playing the editor of the Daily Planet. I can't remember his name. What is it? Doesn't really matter. But yeah, he's now jumped over to Marvel. Whether he'll be in any future films, yet to be seen. But yeah, he has some great moments. One thing that I will say, one moment that was massively ruined, there's a joke between sort of him and Scott, where they're talking about the whole Goliath thing, and it's in the trailer. First time I saw that joke, I was it was hilarious, but the problem is when it came around to it being in the movie, I'd already been spoiled. It wasn't that funny, because I'd already heard it like 12 times from seeing the trailer over and over and over again. Sort it out, Marvel. Sort it out. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, just sort of seeing the dynamic of them two teaming up. It was, again, really, really fun to watch. Like I said, the back and forth banter between them both was absolutely spot on. Spilling out from Infinity War, it was a really, really fun movie. And yeah, I'm just really upset that it's our last proper MCU movie of 2018. We've now got to wait till 2019 for Captain Marvel and Infinity War Part 2. That sucks. One thing I will say, guys, is the film has got 2 post-credit scenes. It's got one mid-credit scene, which I recommend you definitely stick around for. And then it's got another credit scene right at the very end of the movie. Do not bother. Watch the mid-credit scene, get out of there. The end credit scene, it's worse than that Captain America one at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, genuinely, just don't bother sticking around for it. But definitely stick around for the mid-credit scene, because that's important. So then, I guess those are kind of my rough thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp. A bit all over the place, I know. And so I suppose I've got to give it a rating. Like I said, fun, enjoyable, very comic book feeling movie. I had a great time watching it. Some jokes fell a bit flat, but all the cast were on point. Can't really fault it at all. So I am probably going to give Ant-Man and the Wasp a 8 out of 10. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. As always, if you've liked what you've seen, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more reviews. I keep promising it. I'm going to be doing some other videos soon as well. Maybe. I'm working on them. It's happening. But yeah, stick around. There's going to be some interesting stuff to come. Thank you for watching.